one space lab to another big old space lab.
The evidence of the foam hit was brought to Columbia's mission manager, Linda Ham, who'd had 16 years' experience in the job. She had to decide what action, if any, should be taken. The big question was whether the hit had merely damaged the tiles on the outside of the wing, or whether there might be burn-through to the panels of the wing itself. She chaired a series of conference calls with NASA engineers about the potential danger.
Okay, we received the data from the systems integration guys of the potential ranges of sizes and impact angles and where it might have hit, but the thermal analysis does not indicate that there is a potential for a burn-through.
No burn-through means no catastrophic damage, and localized heating damage would mean a tile replacement?
Well, it would mean possible impact to turnaround repairs and that sort of thing, but we don't see any kind of safety of flight issue here.
The message from the NASA technicians was clear. They saw no reason to be alarmed, just the inconvenience of a longer turnaround before the next flight.
What do you think?
No safety of flight, no issue for this mission, nothing we're going to have to do different. There might be a turnaround?
Right. Although we could have some significant tile damage here, we don't see a safety of flight issue.
Would be a turnaround issue only.
Right.
We would get vehicles back on the runway and have lots of damage of this type to the heat shield tiles in the thermal protection system. And so we had a lot of experience with dings and nicks and chunks out of tiles that turned out to be a reuse issue. And so that's what I had understood this to be. And so I didn't have any concerns as we entered into the preparations for deorbit and entry and landing.
Anxious to avoid any awkward questions from the press, engineer Steve Stitch informed Commander Rick Husband of the problem.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah, Steve.
There's one item I'd like to bring to your attention. The item is not even worth mentioning other than wanting to make sure you're not surprised by it in a question from a reporter. During ascent, at approximately 80 seconds, photo analysis shows some debris impacted the orbiter left wing. Experts have reviewed the high-speed photography and there's no concern. We have seen this same phenomenon on several other flights and there's absolutely no concern for entry.
Thanks for letting me know. I've seen this happen. Look, can you get the video up to me so I can have a look and then I'll show it to my crew?
Sure thing. Safe ride home.
Thanks, Steve. Keep up the good work. Columbia, out.
NASA uplinked the tape to the shuttle. Rick Husband showed it to the crew. No one was alarmed. They all knew it had happened before. But some NASA engineers thought that not enough had been done to establish whether the foam hit had damaged the wing. They requested that the US Air Force use a spy satellite to get images of the orbiter in space.
No, I don't believe
Linda Ham and the mission management team did not seek Department of Defense photographs of the shuttle. Later, they said that they had received no formal request.
That is why I do go.
However, there were residual concerns among the engineers on the ground. Discussions among the management team now focused on what they could do if the foam had indeed pierced the wing.
During the flight, because there's not much we can do about it.
Yeah, as everybody knows, we took a hit on the left, somewhere on the left wing leading edge, and we are also talking about what you can do in the event that we do have some damage there.
Right, okay. So we ought to pull...
Linda Ham asked for comparisons to be made with previous shuttle flights.
The data from 112 or whatever the flight was, just to make sure.
Yeah, and we'll do that.
Then Ham delivered an explicit admission. NASA was helpless.
You know, I really don't think there's much we can do. So it's not really a factor with this flight because there's nothing we can do about it.
Okay.
NASA management had 5 separate meetings about the foam strike. Flight Director Leroy Kane recalls that every time it was on the agenda, the outcome was the same. No action needed.
Help with debris hit. The Space Shuttle program was asked directly if they had any interest or desire in requesting resources outside of NASA to view the orbiter. They said no. After talking to Phil, I consider it to be a dead issue.
Two days before their scheduled return to Earth, Husband, McCool, and Chowla ran a complete simulation for re-entry.
First, and then the RCS hot fire.
Husband and his team were confident. The Columbia was technically ready for touchdown at Cape Canaveral at 9:16 on February the 1st. No one on board the shuttle or on Earth had any idea that there was a gaping hole in Columbia's left wing, and the astronauts were doomed.